Hi, Mindless Sanity 602 reporting to you at the Nightmare Central with the finale, the final video. Basically, this is the recap to our 4th annual 31 Days of Horror Film Reviews of, 2015. And I'm about to, give my little recap of this year's 31 Days of Horror Film Reviews. This, please, if you feel like it's not a requirement, but watch the videos that I've recorded each day in this October, each day of this October, and watch them. That's what they're here for. That's what they're there for. You to watch them and enjoy them. That's basically what they're there for. But since this is the final day of October, since we're on our final day of October, and yeah, since we're on our final day of October, we are basically giving our little closing statements, or basically our epilogue of sorts. Our little epilogue of sorts. Please excuse that. We are given our little epilogue of sorts. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm having a horrible time with the statements, and please, we having a little bit of noise there, so hopefully that doesn't drown out my voice. Anyways. This has been the first year that I have compiled a list where I planned out my whole entire film selections for reviews and stuff. Where I compiled my list and done that, and yeah, this has been the first year, and yeah. So the first film we talked about was Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. I definitely would recommend Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2 as an essential viewing. I love Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2. I think that film is pretty good. Definitely worth a check out. The second film was Silent Night, Deadly Night. I also recommend Silent Night, Deadly Night. Very good movie. Definitely a really good movie. The third day was Hobo with a Shotgun, which I don't really recommend Hobo with a Shotgun. I really don't. I think that movie's not all that great. But that was the first one that was, supposed to, be with this year's agenda of making some blurring the genre lines of what's horror and what's not horror. And since I view a Hobo with a Shotgun with a little bit of horror themes, it's there, and I don't really recommend Hobo with a Shotgun. I think that the film is not all that great. It's a rather piss poor film, but that's just my opinion. Day number 4 was Dark Shadows, which is the 2012 Tim Burton and Johnny Depp starring Dark Shadows remake. If you're a big fan of vampire films, and you like zany comedies, I guess give that a check out. Day number 5 was Hellraiser Bloodline. That film was very flawed. I definitely do admit that film was very flawed, but for the most part, for the most part, I think it's a good movie, and I appreciate the ambition behind it, and I think it's a decent film. Day number 6 was Jaws. I feel like Jaws is an overrated movie. I don't really care for Jaws that much, so I recommend you skip Jaws. But since it's viewed upon as a horror classic, I guess give it a chance. I don't really care for it much. The day number 7 was Salvage. Salvage was a shitty movie. I don't really care for Salvage much. Please don't check out Salvage. Day number 8 was A Perfect Getaway. I recommend A Perfect Getaway. I actually think that movie's pretty groovy. I think that it's a nice little suspense thriller that kind of fits in with the horror genre. I like it. Day number 9 was Hellraiser Inferno, my personal favorite of the Hellraiser franchise. I really recommend Hellraiser Inferno. I really love it. Day number 10, we reviewed 5 Lucio Fulci films. I recommend you check out all 5 of those Lucio Fulci films. They were Zombie, The Beyond, City of Living Dead, House by the Cemetery, and The New York Ripper. I recommend all of them. The one that I would proceed with caution is House by the Cemetery because it's a little bit boring. But for the most part, I recommend all of those Lucio Fulci films that I've reviewed in that video. Day number 11 was Dawn of the Dead, the 2004 remake. I feel like that film is kind of overrated. I don't really care for the Dawn of the Dead remake. Don't really, yeah. Then we get to Hellraiser Hellseeker. I recommend Hellraiser Hellseeker. It's a little weak in some departments, but overall, Hellraiser Hellseeker is a perfectly fine entry in the Hellraiser franchise, and I recommend it. Day number 13, we talked about These Are the Damned, which is a very unique little black and white movie that I would recommend checking out. Be aware of it because it's a little bit weird, and has a lot. It's a weird movie. Day number 14 was Hellraiser Hellworld, the final of the day of the Hellraiser reviews. I don't really like Hellraiser Hellworld. I think that's the first really shitty movie of the franchise, so I don't really recommend it. Day number 15 was Creepshow. I recommend you check out Creepshow. Definitely well worth the watch. Then day number 16 was You're Next. I don't recommend You're Next. I think that movie's pretty bad. Day number 17 was Borderland. Borderland was it's a pretty awesome movie. I like Borderland. I think that film's perfect. I think it's a really cool little film. Day number 18 was Terror Train. I recommend Terror Train. Terror Train is definitely worth a check out. Day number 19 was Gremlins. I recommend Gremlins. Definitely, I've checked that back. Actually, I'm not really thinking. I don't really recommend Gremlins. I'm jumping the gun there. I do not recommend Gremlins. I feel like that movie's kind of shitty. I think it's overrated too. Day number 20 was the 1988 Robert Englund starring and Dwight H. Little version of the Phantom of the Opera. I recommend that film. And I'm not jumping the gun. I really do. Day number 21 was The Final Terror. I recommend The Final Terror. It's a weak slasher film, but it has a charm of its own. Day number 22 was Disturbing Behavior. I recommend Disturbing Behavior. I think that movie's pretty groovy. I wish that it had the ability to be a fully thought out film, but be left alone. But it's a good movie. Day number 23 was Bad Dreams. I recommend Bad Dreams. Day number 24 was a Dario Argento we reviewed 3 Dario Argento films. Inferno, Deep Red, and shit, I forgot the last one. I forgot the one. Oh, Cat on Nine Tails. I recommend all three of those. I think that they're good movies. Day number 25 was Donnie Darko. I recommend Donnie Darko. I think that movie's pretty sweet. It's a favorite movie of mine. Day number 26 was Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. I guess give it a check out if you have some time. It's flawed. Day number 27 was Faces of Death. I do not recommend Faces of Death. Day number 28 was The Breed. I recommend The Breed. The Breed is a pretty good movie. Day number 29 was The Shining. I do not recommend The Shining. I think that movie's pretty bad, and I don't really like The Shining much. Day number 30 was Amityville 2 The Possession. I really liked Amityville 2 The Possession. And Halloween Day was Halloween H2O, a little commentary for that. How does this list, we're not really going to be talking about the 2 seasons, the 2 years, 2 seasons that came before this one. The only one that's relevant to this year, just like any year of my 31 Days of Horror Film Reviews, is the previous year. How does this selection stack up against last year's selection? I think last year had a more variety to its selection. I feel like there was a little bit more variety there, and I think that there was a little bit more variety, but overall I'm more satisfied with these reviews. I think that they're a lot more I think that they're a little bit they're better reviews, but the films there was a better selection last year. So overall, I'm pretty happy with this year's 31 Days of Horror Film Reviews, and since this is the 4th annual 31 Days of Horror Film Reviews, and I use that word annual, you should look it up in the dictionary, and you'll see that that means that I'll be back next October with another group of 31 Days of Horror Film Reviews. Now, I'm good since the previous years were just random films that I didn't plan out, and since this was a year that I planned out everything, next year I'm gonna plan out half of the reviews and leave the half for loosey-goosey stuff, because I think that's had a little bit more of a structure to this one, and I feel like the structure really helped out. But I felt like I think that I didn't get a better variety stuff, but I'm overall pretty happy with this year's stuff, and next year I'm probably there's not gonna be like these double features. There's not gonna be like these retrospectives. It's just gonna be strictly one film per day leading up to Halloween Day, some special on Halloween Day. I decided to do a commentary for a Halloween film, the 7th entry, this October review-a-thon. So next year, I'm just not going to do a commentary. I'm going to leave the Halloween franchise alone for next year's 31 Days of Horror Film Reviews. I'm probably going to do like another franchise marathon video on Halloween Day, something like that, something special on Halloween Day. I have some stuff that I'm thinking about watching next year. I'm still gonna. I planned out this list of films in April of this year. Next year, I'm gonna plan out next year's list in July. And so this has been the 4th annual 31 Days of Horror Film Reviews. I'll be back like sometime in I'll be back in October of next year with another 31 Days of Horror Film Reviews. As for other videos, I think since I spend like every day of October doing these videos, every day of October from doing these videos, I think I'm going to give a little break from doing YouTube videos for a while, because because this was very fun. This was very fun, very worthwhile, but it was very, shall I say, very, tiring of sorts, very tiring of sorts, which is silly, because it shouldn't be tiring, but it was a bit tiring, but it was very fun. So I'm probably going to take a break from doing YouTube videos and shit like that for a little while. Probably going to make like at least 2 or 3 in November, at least 2 or 3 videos in November. There's a few things I plan to do for like December, but overall, I'm pretty much gonna take a little break from doing YouTube videos. And anyways, I hope that you enjoyed these reviews. I hope that you go back and check the last the previous 2 years that are available, because year number 1 wasn't available. And I hope that you enjoy these videos. Hope that you go back and watch those videos. They're there for you to watch. And I hope that you will enjoy the other videos to come. And I can't wait to get to October 2016 and start year number 5, which is going to be a bit of a reboot of sorts. We're gonna change up a little things for year number 5, reviews and stuff like that, stuff like this. This is gonna be it for a while. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being to anybody who's been frequently watching these videos. I would like to say thank you. And thank you for sticking with this year's 31 Days of Horror Film Reviews. And I hope that you give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. And that's pretty much it. Have a groovy time, and peace.